Now let's move to employer contributions. Your company has a wide array of choices on how to make employer contributions to employees. There are generally three broad types of employer contributions a company can make on behalf of their employees: safe harbor, matching, and profit sharing. The first type of employer contribution, the safe harbor, is a special type of contribution with extra benefits for your company. There are two versions of safe harbor we will discuss. Before getting into the math, the benefits of a safe harbor contribution are the company does not have to perform that annoying discrimination test, and therefore all highly compensated employees will be able to defer the maximum each year. This feature is especially popular with smaller companies or with professional firms with many highly compensated employees. Now for the basics. The first type of safe harbor contribution is a flat percentage that is given to all eligible employees. Regulations state if a company makes a 3% of wages contribution to all eligible employees that is 100% vested, in other words, no strings attached, the plan is a safe harbor plan not subject to discrimination testing. For example, if a participant made $50,000, 3% of $50,000 is $1,500. The company would make a $1,500 contribution for that participant. It's as simple as that. The second type of contribution is the safe harbor match. There are actually two versions of the match. The first one is a dollar-for-dollar match on the first 4% of wages that an employee contributes into the plan. Well, unlike the 3% safe harbor contributions, employees must make a contribution to receive a matching contribution. Let's do another example. Suppose a person making $50,000 contributes $2,000 out of their wages into the plan. That works out to be 4% of their pay. The match on that 4% of wages is therefore $2,000. The other version of safe harbor plan is similar to the first, but has a two-step calculation. This version is dollar for dollar on the first 3% of wages, and then 50 cents on the dollar on the next 2% of wages. The only difference between this type of safe harbor match is that a participant must contribute 5% to receive 4% from the employer. So in order to get out of discrimination testing, the employer may use either the safe harbor 3% contribution or choose one of the two safe harbor matching contributions and get a free pass on that pesky discrimination test. Although safe harbor is extremely popular, this type of contribution may not be for every company. If the discrimination test is not a big concern, as a company you may want to make other types of contributions into the plan. Another popular type of contribution is the matching contribution. Here, the employer has wide latitude on the dollar amount or percentage limitations it chooses to match. Most of the time, we leave the employer match as a discretionary feature in the plan document so that you can change your mind annually without having to amend the plan document. Some typical matching formulas are 50 cents on the dollar on the first 6% of wages, or a dollar-for-dollar match on the first 3% of wages. Unlike safe harbor contributions, regular matching contributions may be subject to restrictions requiring the employee to be employed on the last day of the plan year, or to work at least 1,000 hours that year to receive the match. Additionally, the matching contribution may include a vesting schedule. More to come on that concept later. The final type of employer contribution can be very powerful. This is called the profit sharing, or often called a discretionary contribution. Modern plan design gives us wide latitude on how these contributions are allocated among your staff. Generally, the only restrictions are an overall dollar amount that the IRS imposes each year, and similar to employee contributions, there is a discrimination test that governs how much we can give highly compensated employees versus others. Let's go over some examples. Your company is having a great year and would like to make a contribution equal to 5% of everyone's pay. We would calculate contributions equal to 5% of everyone's wages who are eligible. What if you want to make different levels of contributions to your staff? Is this possible? The answer is yes. You may make different levels of contributions to different staff, subject to the discrimination rules. The general rule is for every 1% you give your non-highly compensated staff, you may give your highly compensated employees as much as 3 times that percentage. In my example, you could give your highly compensated staff up to 15% of wages, each within the plan. In addition, you don't have to give all of the highly compensated employees the larger contribution. In fact, the IRS rules don't force you to give any contribution to your highly compensated staff. You may also give a specific non-highly compensated employee an additional contribution without having to give that same percentage to everyone. So the important takeaway here is you have a lot of flexibility in designing a profit-sharing or discretionary contribution, which may be varied from year to year and from person to person. Each year, our professional staff will assist you in helping you make this important decision. Finally, there are overall limits on how much may be contributed to the plan each year when we add both employee and employer contributions. For 2018, the maximum is $55,000. For those who are 50 and over, it is $61,000. It's really simple math. Employee contributions plus employer contributions plus forfeitures equal $55,000 or $61,000. I snuck in another term, forfeitures. These are funds that people forfeit when not fully vested and may be allocated to others in the plan. The most important point is that there is a maximum amount that may be contributed when we add both employee and employer contributions. Generally, most employees will fall far short of the annual maximums. Often, especially for business owners or partners in professional firms, we are asked to maximize contributions for those individuals, and therefore we often craft solutions which back into those maximums. When we add the ability to make both employee and employer contributions, you can see the 401k plan is a powerful retirement savings vehicle.